Right guys, back with another video. Today I am going to be doing my final Premier League 23-24 table predictions for next season. I have all 20 teams in a position which I think I'm sure on. I might swap a couple of teams around possibly, but I think these are my final decisions for where each team is going to finish next season. So, without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Make sure you guys like, subscribe, all that important stuff. So, I have this all written down, so I'm all, prepared. So I think we'll just go through the teams and we'll just say where I think they're going to finish from alphabetical order. So we'll start then with Arsenal. Obviously, they were so close. They were, close to winning the league last season. I don't think they'll reach those heights this season, though. I don't even think they'll get top four. I actually think they'll finish down in 5th this year, so back in the Europa League. It's obviously disappointing because they have invested well. They've signed Declan Rice, Julian Timber from Ajax as well, maybe one other player as well. So they have invested well. They've spent a lot of money, but I still feel that they'll drop off and fall back down into the Europa League, so they won't even get top four. It's a little bit harsh, and also what Arsenal fans think about that, but yeah, that's where I'm going to put them. So we'll move on with Aston Villa. They obviously got Conference League last season, so European tour for them. They've signed Pau Torres from Villarreal. It's about all I can think of that they've invested in so far this window. You may disagree with me on this one, but I actually think Villa will finish 9th. To be honest, it was really difficult to choose between because there's teams like Chelsea who I think will do much better this year. There's like Tottenham who've also got a new manager, and then there's also obviously Newcastle, like Arsenal, teams like that. It's so hard to put them in what I think is the wrong position. So it's a little bit harsh to put Villa down in 9th, but I feel that could end up being the right decision. I don't really know, to be honest. What's my ball knowledge like, eh? So we'll move on to Bournemouth, which I think sacking Gary O'Neill was a atrocious decision by the club, but they should not have done it. The manager they have appointed is, he's alright, he's done well with the team that he was previously at, Rayo Vallecano. But I still think Bournemouth will go down this year, I reckon, and I reckon they'll finish 19th in the league. I put them to go down last year, rock bottom, which obviously was a couple places off, but this year I think they are going to go down, unfortunately. I've never really liked Bournemouth, to be honest. I don't really know why, I just never liked them. But I think they'll go down this year. I'm fairly confident about that. So 19th place. Brentford. So last year they did really well. Got credit to 9th place in the league. And, they had some very good wins against Liverpool, also Man United, City on the final day as well. So Brentford are a good team. I really do rate them. But this season, I just think they won't do as well. But they'll still do enough to secure a mid-table finish. Brentford are finishing 13th this year, I reckon. I think they'll drop off a little, but they'll still have a decent season. I reckon they'll still pick up a couple of good results against the big teams, the supposed top 6 teams, I guess. But I still reckon they'll do well. So Brentford 13th. Moving on to my boys then, Brighton. So it's really hard to put us in a spot, and I'm actually going to change a couple of teams around here for the first time. I put us in 7th to go for Conference League, and Spurs in 8th. Are Spurs not winning that Europe for the 2nd year in a row with the new manager as well? I'm not 100% sure, so unfortunately I think we'll just miss out on Europe this year. Chelsea and Spurs have both got a new manager. It's going to be difficult. It's teams like Newcastle, Arsenal fighting for that European place as well, Villa as well. I just feel it's not going to be enough, so I reckon if we'll finish 8th this year, we'll still have a very, very good year under Roberto De Zerbi, but I just feel that we won't be able to make Europe. because I feel it more challenging for us this year with Chelsea and Tottenham with new managers, as I've said. So if we move on to Burnley, sorry, I'll speak about who we've invested in. So we've bought João Pedro from Watford, Dahoud from Dortmund, Bart Verbruggen from Anderlecht. He is a very talented young keeper, and then Milner on a free from Liverpool. So we've invested well, signed a good couple of players, and I reckon those players are ready for the Europa League. So then moving on to Burnley, who obviously came up, did really well in the Championship with Vincent Kompany as manager. He's staying, and they play Man City on the opening day of the season, which should be interesting, certainly. I think Burnley will kick on under Vincent Kompany. They'll have a really good year, and I reckon they'll surprise everybody. People are just thinking that they're going to finish like not the low, like mid-table kind of places, but I reckon they're going to finish this season in 11th place, which might seem like it's an ambitious shout. I genuinely think Vincent Kompany is going to do a great job in the Premier League. He did it for Man City as a player and as captain, and I reckon he's going to do it as a manager for Burnley as well. So 11th place. Moving on to Chelsea, who obviously had a shocking year in the league last year, but I do think they are going to improve massively. And I reckon they'll not only get into Europe again, they'll get into the top 4, I reckon. I've put Chelsea 4th. I do think Pochettino is going to turn it around. He's going to get players like, bloody hell, about half the fucking squad is left, isn't it? Trying to think of players now. They'll get like their key players performing right. And I reckon that'll be enough to secure them in Champions League football for next season. In terms of like who they've signed, they've not really signed anybody yet, have they? They've just got rid of all the dead wood and sold Havertz to Arsenal, Kovacic to Man City, Mount to Man United. I mean, they're not dead wood, are they? But we'll see. They are still going. Negotiations are slowly progressing on a deal for Caicedo. We'll see how that one turns out, but I think a deal will be agreed no matter how far in the future it may be. But Chelsea will do enough to make Champions League this year. They'll be back in the competition in the 4th. Crystal Palace, I think we'll just swiftly move on, shall we? Palace finish mid-table every year. Boring team, boring football. I finished 12th. Joking, they don't play boring football. I'm just taking the piss. I do think Eze is a very talented player. I'll put him in my fantasy team this year, so I do hope he gets me some points. Elise as well. Palace, to be fair to them, have got a really talented squad, and I do feel like if those young players like Eze and Elise perform, I do think they can maybe get towards like a top half finish this year. I do think they've got the quality to do it. But yeah, Palace in 12th, but it wouldn't surprise me if they got into the top half, to be honest, because they look like a really promising team now. So, moving on with Everton. This is going to be, possibly a little bit of a controversial one. They stayed up last year, Everton. They've never been relegated from the Premier League. There's something like 70 years stay in the top flight or something without being relegated. Crazy that really, isn't it? Something tells me that that's going to come to an end this year. And I've stuck with my decision to put Everton to go down in 18th place. So 2 of my relegation places have already been confirmed. I think you guys can probably tell who I'm going to put bottom. But I'm not going to give it away quite yet. I just feel I can't really think like how they've invested this year. Like they haven't really signed anybody like Premier League quality, I just don't feel it's going to be enough this year, I just feel that they'll end up going down. I've never really loved Everton. I don't hate them or anything. I don't have a grudge against them or anything. I just feel that they just won't have enough firepower this year. I don't know what's getting me feeling like that, but something is, and I just feel that they're not going to be able to do enough. And I'll go down, unfortunately. So then we move on to the next club in the alphabetical order. which is Fulham. Obviously, they had a fantastic year last season, finishing 10th, slap bang in the middle of the table. But we all give credit and with to Fulham. But I reckon this year they'll fall down a little bit, 4 places, put them 14th. Still reckon they'll do enough to stay up. They've still got Marco Silva as manager. They've still got Mitrovic, although he's been linked to the Saudi League recently. I don't know how that's getting on. So I do think that Fulham will drop off a little bit, but they will still do enough, similar to like Brentford. They'll still do enough to stay up, and they'll stay up pretty comfortably. I think lots of Mitrovic, if he stays, will get a few goals, I'm sure. So move on to, so obviously Leeds and Leicester have both been relegated, so it's on to Luton. Wait, no, Liverpool, yeah. Liverpool, because they're next in alphabetical order. Obviously, they failed to make Champions League. They failed to make the Champions League for next season, which was really disappointing for their fans. So they were playing Thursday nights in Kazakhstan, like us, obviously. But I do think they'll do better this year, and they'll finish second runners up. They'll be back, but obviously, not to give anything away, but I think the team that I've put to win the league has probably got too much quality, right? I think you guys can probably guess who it is. But yeah, Liverpool in second. They've invested 2 midfielders. They've signed McAllister from us, Szoboszlai as well from, is it Leipzig, I think. So yeah, they've invested well. Obviously Milner's gone to us. Henson, Fabinho look like they're on the way out as well. So maybe they could do another midfielder. Yeah, Liverpool in second, bouncing back. Oh, I'm going to try and speed up now because I don't want this video to be like too long, so it's already 12 minutes. But when we move on to Luton, just drop on. They just haven't got the quality. They have not got the quality to stay up whatsoever. They've signed Tahith Chong recently, but I'll be honest with you, that's about it. And like that Ogbene fella as well, but quite simply, haven't got the quality to stay in the Premier League, so rob on. Moving on. We then move on to Manchester City again. We'll move on swiftly. Top of the league, no question about it. They're just going to do it again, aren't they? Like, it's so annoying. Like, I want to be different. I want to be like unique, but you just got to admit that this club are just annoyingly just too good at the minute. They are going to win the league again. It's just inevitable. Who's City signed them? They've signed Kovacic from Chelsea, which will be a good addition to the midfield. Although I don't really think they really need another midfielder, but there's that. Yeah, City top. We'll move on to the next club, shall we? Which is Manchester United, in which I reckon, I think they're on an upward trajectory under Erik ten Hag, and I think they'll finish third in the league again, which will be a good finish for them, I reckon. I genuinely think that this will be a 3-horse race between Man United, Liverpool and Man City. Man United will slowly start to slip away towards the end of the season, and I reckon they'll finish third. But I reckon Man United fans might take that, but then granted they probably want a Premier League trophy to their hands to get one over their rivals, don't they, Man City? So I think third is a good finish for Man United. I mean, they've invested in signing Mason Mount. I don't know how he'll do, to be honest. It depends. Yeah, it really does depend. But I don't really know how he's going to go on, but I hope he does well, because I do like that. I do like him as like a player. So, if we move on to the next club, which is Newcastle, in the alphabetical order, they obviously did the incredible thing and made Champions League for next season. I don't think they'll be there the season after, though. I reckon they'll finish 6th, which is still Europa League. Still a pretty solid outcome for Newcastle. Where did I put them? That was like before last season started. I put them like just below the European places. I might put them 9th or something. Obviously, they finished 4th. Surprised everyone. They'll still do well. They will still do very, very well. and I do rate Newcastle a lot, but they won't make Europa League. Champions League this season. So there's too much competition this year for that final fourth spot. But I reckon I'll do enough for a sixth place finish in the Europa League next season. So on to Nottingham Forest. They're my local team. He did enough to stay up last season. Taiwo Awoniyi with the goals late on in the season, which in my opinion kept them up with some great results away at Chelsea, and the win against Arsenal as well is sealed survival. And they're going to survive again, I reckon. 15th place, so a place up from last season. I reckon that they'll do alright. So I guess we'll just move straight on to the next team, which is it is Tottenham, isn't it? So Tottenham I originally put in 8th because I just thought Postecoglou may be gone by Christmas, but I think he'll last a little bit longer than that, But I reckon Tottenham will sneak into Europe. They'll finish 7th. They won't go any further than that, I don't think. Spurs will finish in the Conference League next season, and that's where they'll play. Liverpool's signed James Maddison from Leicester, relegated Leicester. I think he's going to do well there. So you've got 2 clubs left, boys. You've got West Ham and then Wolves. We'll start with West Ham, obviously, who are going to be that team who just finished slap bang in the middle of the table in 10th place. And they'll do a bit better than last season, although they have lost Declan Rice. And Lanzini too. I still do think they'll do better than last season. I mean, they've got it really, haven't they? Where they finished 14th or something. So they will go up a couple of places, but it won't be anywhere near enough to get into Europe for next season. But mid-table for West Ham. And we move on to the final club, which is Wolves. And I reckon they're going to be another one of those teams that are in a slight relegation dogfight because they just don't score enough goals, do they, Wolves? I mean, the manager's a bit. I don't really rate him, to be honest. I don't really rate the manager. And Jimenez has fallen off a cliff, hasn't he? Neves has left. One of their best players. It's a big blow for them. He's gone to the Saudi League. It looks like that's what everyone's getting now at the minute. So Wolves will finish 16th, I reckon. So they'll stay up. They might have a slight looking over my shoulder moments, right? But they'll be alright, I reckon. I just realised I did miss a club. I missed Sheffield United. Sorry about that. You lot will finish 17th. I reckon you'll just about stay up in this league. I mean, they haven't got a great squad, but I feel in this season where they surprised everyone, finished 9th or something. I don't think they'll reach those heights, anywhere near those heights, but I do think they'll do enough to stay up, but only just. So that is it, boys. Those are my Premier League predictions for the 23-24 season. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. You know where to go. Like, subscribers as per, and I'll see you guys in the next video, which should be a new series coming back. Should be Premier League game week predictions. Just let you guys know also, I will be on holiday for a week and a bit, so I probably won't be able to do the match preview for Brighton's first game of the season. I won't be able to do that. Not for the second game of the season either. I won't be able to do game week predictions for game week 2 either. But I'll be back game week 3 with the regular content. Sounds good? Right, hopefully you've taken that all in. And I'll see you around in a bit.